Thank you again for attending. I'm Sherry Kane. For those of you who don't know who I am, my husband Bill Kane, who's doing the reporting, and I are co-chairs of the Hershey's Mill Technology Committee. This is one of many events that we run in with Hershey's Mill. I think you all have read the email, so you know that this is protecting your bank account, bank fraud, that kind of thing. And this is Terry Moran. She is an officer with the Financial Center, and she's going to be doing the presentation. She'll be joined shortly by someone else who will be here to help her answer questions, etc. So, do you want questions during the presentation or at the end?
They can ask absolutely during, and Richard is right on time.
Ah, there's Richard. Hi, Richard.
I got lost thanks to him. He gave the directions here.
Okay.
Nice to meet you all.
So, you can ask questions during the presentation. Just be sure to speak up so that everybody can hear you. You know how we have problems in this room. Okay, so thanks so much.
Good morning. So, again, my name is Terry Moran, and I'm a Financial Center Manager, and I have with me.
Good morning, everyone. I am Richard. I'm also a Financial Center Manager, so it's our pleasure to be here, and we have such great information that I hope you get some great takeaways from. And so make it as engaging as possible. Any question in your mind, please let us hear it, okay?
Thanks, Richard. So today's seminar is all about our fraud and scam education. So, does anybody familiar with fraud? Anybody have any stories to share? What they've had issues with fraud or been aware of before?
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I have a few. Shouldn't say it. I had an email from a friend, and I looked at it. It was her email address. And she had been in Dubai, and it asked her me to buy gift cards. And she's a very close friend, and I thought, I didn't know what to do. Okay. I kept buying it, and she said, I really need more. I said, well, oh, you're going to your grandson's lacrosse in Australia? Okay, yeah, yes, thank you very much. We went, okay. Well, by the time I really filled up $800. I got a little bit suspicious, and I said, Sandy, would you just tell me who we went to New York with, just to give some identification? And she said, Nancy and Diane, and she spelled Diane, D-I-A-N. And I thought, oh good. I said, oh good, this is legit. She said, of course this is legit. Went on and on and on. This was around Christmas time. And finally, after $2,000, I was in agony because I heard my name. I said, Sandy, I can't go to the store and get any more of these. They do limit what you can buy in the stores because they can put this happen. And I texted her, but I hadn't texted her before. And she said, is this you, Joanne? What is this? I thought, uh-oh. Called the police, but of course it wasn't. And I feel very foolish, but I lost $2,000, never got it back. And I really did try to figure it out, properly, but obviously it didn't work.
No, and it happens to the best of us, so I'm going to reshare. So she received a message, right? Not via text.
It was her email address. It wasn't changed from any digits, nothing like that.
Okay. So you received an email from your friend who was traveling to Dubai?
She was through Dubai.
Oh, she was through Dubai.
Her computer had been hacked, and what had happened was whoever had control of her email.
Okay.
And her computer.
Oh, and
that's why he was able to answer my questions.
And that makes absolute sense. You click on the wrong thing, and sometimes that's what happens. So they remoted into her computer, they got into her contacts, and requested $2,000. We're able to give you even $800 at first,
No,
right?
it was in increments. It was like
Oh,
400,
okay.
200. Another time, a person I know who went home identified, got that Microsoft thing on the computer that says, oh, don't turn this off, call Microsoft. Well, the person did thought they were calling Microsoft, and after 4 days, they had known they
No, and that's it. It is so easy to happen. So it sounds like they hacked into his computer with one of the cyber phishing things where you have to update or you need to contact Microsoft, like you're saying.
And you just turn it off, and if you turn it off, it goes away. You just have to turn it off.
Absolutely agree 100%, and it happens. And I will tell you, don't be embarrassed or ashamed. It happens to the best of us. There are a lot of people. Is that me? Where I'm sitting, the reverb? Okay, I'm good. I just wanted to make sure. So it sounds, and it does, it happens to the best of us. They hack into your computer, they have all the information like that, and then you confirmed and did everything you did that you felt you should to get your due diligence, and then you still lost out. So it does, it happens time and time again, so. So, and that's it. We're gonna talk about first fraud and scams. You know, it's defined by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau as an illegal act that occurs when people try to trick you out of your personal information and your money. So we're gonna go to the next slide here. And just like our friend shared at the back, this is exactly how cyber criminals try and get your information. You know, we have a phishing email up here where maybe the email response won't look quite like normal from your normal bank or your normal customer. Will also, and then it's usually an urgent request. You know, please confirm now so you do not lose access. Please respond now or your bank is going to be charged. You know, you have to update your information now or you'll be subject. So you want to definitely take a look, just like you said, take a look at where the email's from, make sure your email is correct, there's no extra letters or anything unusual in that. A lot of times at the bottom, you can take a look at the URL here. And the URL, the link there, looks usually, I guess for lack of a better word, a little hinky, right? So the URL it may say the email's from Microsoft or from Amazon. And in the URL link, it won't have Amazon or it won't have Microsoft. So we want to be aware, and it happens to the best of us. We get these phishing emails even in our inboxes at the bank. So it does happen to everyone all the time. You know, you click the link and then you realize you made the mistake. Has anybody seen these often? I'm sure everybody's gotten these from time to time. Yes, yes. Have you clicked on them?
No, good.
No, that's good. It's a scary thing. It happens. I have done it. I have done it from time to time, and then I realized, oh my goodness, I fell victim and realized I had an error or an issue with it, and you're able to back out and close out. And typically, shutting down the computer can really help, clearing the cookies, things along those lines. And then they come in with texts as well. That's a really big issue. You'll get scam text messages, fraud texts. It may say it's from Susie or Betty or your family member. I know for a while there, my father got a call, and these calls were going around last year, and he called me all in a panic saying that somebody had just called him. His grandson was in a major car accident, and he needed to send money right away to help him. So he couldn't get a hold of my son because my son was working shift work and asleep. So he called me, and he was all upset and stressed out. And then I got a hold of my son, and I was like, nope, I had heard of this. I'm sure some of you guys may have heard of this. This was a big thing, I think, last year that was going around. And they get you because, it's your babies or your grandbabies. It's such a big deal. Same thing with Messenger, on Facebook, social media. They connect with you. Definitely a huge thing. So, and then this is all about how scammers trick you. You want to make sure you spot the red flags and you're very scrutinous like anybody else, like everybody else. You want to make sure, you know, where the call is coming from or who the call is. Anybody's requesting your personal info, you want to be aware of that as well. So if you get a call, one of the new technologies they have is there's an app out there that can give a different phone number. So I can call Richard from my cell phone, but I could use this app and I could make it look like I was calling Richard on my cell phone from Bank of America customer service line. And then I could call him and request information, and you're looking at your caller ID and you're like, okay, this is Bank of America, this must be legitimate, right? So we want to really be cautious that when we do that, and whether it's whether you bank with Bank of America or any bank, any bank can be victim of this, and any bank can do this. You are always best suited to be cautious with this. Hang up, look at your credit or your debit card that is the bank that is calling you, and dial that number back. Speak to them, say somebody called, make sure they call. You don't ever want to provide information to someone when they call you in on the phone, no matter where it says it's from, who it says it's from. It's amazing what these people can do nowadays. If only they put their focus and their energy on positive and good, what they would be able to do in the world would be unbelievable. One of the other things that we talk about is when people ask for gift cards. You know, I need help, I'm stuck across the country, I need money for gas or money for groceries. Can you buy gift cards? Send me the pictures of the back of the gift card. That's a really big thing, because then your money is gone. You buy the gift card, you get the back of the gift card sent to someone, they use that gift card online, and the money is gone. And usually that's a scam. If somebody's asking for gift cards to help them somewhere, that's immediately, you want to kind of cease and desist with that. And just make sure that you just engage and do exactly what you did over there, and reach out to that person in a different way. Hey, is this you? You just texted me this way, or you just sent me something in Messenger this way. You know, is this really you? And if you're still not sure, talk on the phone. You know who people are, you know who people sound like, speak on the phone. Make sure if it's Susie down the road that you knew 2 years and haven't seen in a year and a half, you know what her voice is going to sound like. So make sure that unless you're speaking with her and confirming, that you really, really hold off and refrain. So, you know, they do. They're great impersonators. They do try and catch you off guard. And then you want to share as little information as possible. You have, there's times where people will call claiming they're from Social Security or from the IRS, and you owe money. And if you don't give them money now or share your information now, that you'll have a problem. And I went through this personally. We were moving from one state to another about 7.5 years ago, and I worked 65-hour work weeks and was driving an hour and a half each way with, I have kids that were still in high school then, and I had somebody reach out to me and say that we messed up on our taxes, that we had to rectify this right away, that it needed to be dealt with, this, that, and the other. I was super stressed out because of all that I had on my plate. I had my husband taking care of everything other than me working back and forth. And I called him, and he was like, thank goodness, you know, because I was not at my best, obviously, at the time. And I almost gave away information. He's like, what are you doing? You know how to have your taxes done. Our taxes are taken care of every year. Why would this go on? Why would the IRS actually call you. They kind of don't do that, right? They really, really don't. There's a lot of other ways. So it really, really happens. Definitely be self-aware and be concerned. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anything they want to share? Yes, sir.
There's a scam going on that I was a little surprised at, but they actually called someone and said they had a bug in their computer and you have to renew your subscription. And they actually sent he said $1,500 for 2 years subscription. So he sent a courier to the house to pick up his check.
Oh my goodness, yeah, so, and I'll reshare. So it sounds like he received, what was it, a phone call?
It was a phone call saying his computer had a virus.
Oh, okay, he had a phone call saying the computer had a virus and that it was gonna be a 2-year subscription to clean it up and take care of it, and they sent a courier to the person's house to pick up the check. So, it's just crazy out there. There is no limit to the tenacity of the individuals.
Well, the other part is, I started reading online and found out this is a scam. Where the courier was arrested, turns out he knew nothing about it, he just was paid to go pick up the check. Wow.
Oh, and that makes sense.
It's like, what else? Yeah.
Absolutely, they used a middleman, so the courier was arrested, and then they found out he was just the middleman. He had no idea there was a scam, and that's it. It's easy for them to pay a courier, somebody $35, $40 to go pick something up, and they have their pickup of $1,500. So it's out there, and it's all day, every day. I have yes, ma'am.
No, that's right, finish up, just had something.
Oh, no, go right ahead.
I have a question about ACH, wire payments.
Yes, go ahead. You have an ACH wire payment question.
Yes, I do, I've never heard of it before.
Okay.
A friend of mine that I'm going to be traveling with has not heard of it. We were going to make airline reservations through this travel agency that the cruise line recommended. And they said they will only accept payments through ACH wire payment, no credit cards. That's unheard of. So well, there are only 2 banks that they recommended. One was a Wells Fargo in Florida, the other one was a Citibank in Florida, because this company is based out of Florida. And so I called my Wells Fargo bank, and they said, yes, they do send these. And I said, okay. And I said, how about my friend? She doesn't have a Wells Fargo debit. And she also said, oh no, only if she has an account. She has to go to her bank. Okay, so we decided not to do anything for the moment. When she got home, she called her brother, and he said, oh no. He said, go do the ACH wire payment. So I've never heard of it, but maybe you can explain.
Okay, and then I'm going to reiterate your story so everyone can hear. They were connecting with a travel agency to go on a trip, and the travel agency requested specifically either an ACH or a wire transfer to receive their payment. They refused to get credit card payment, which is unusual. So, after reaching out to the bank that they recommended, which was Wells, and maybe the other bank, that they said if you were a Wells Fargo person, you could ACH or wire the money to that account. And then after she reached out to someone else, she was suggested not to do that. Absolutely, I agree 100%. ACH and a wire transfer. ACH is an abbreviation for automatic clearinghouse. So it's an electronic transfer. And a wire also is an electronic transfer. Wires are scary. ACHs are scary. A wire can, once it's submitted, it can only be stopped, maybe, not even a guarantee, within 30 minutes of sending that wire. So 30, and we can't even guarantee that we can stop it after we hit submit and send the information because of the way that it's sent. So you always want to be super careful. Any travel agency that is not willing to accept payment by credit card is not worth the time of day. Usually, reputable travel agencies want you to work with a specific credit card they have a relationship with to begin with. You know, we have card offers, there's travel agencies that you work with through your bank, whether it's Bank of America or whomever else, because you get points. And then with your credit card, using a credit card instead of your debit card reduces your liability. You are not liable if there's fraud. So you're using the bank's money and not your own. Debit card, if you use a debit card to pay, and there's fraud on your debit card, it could take 90 days for it to come back to you. You could possibly not have the money refunded to you. That's quite possible. So kudos to you for reaching out and getting extra support so you could be savvy and save yourself. I've been in the financial industry for 4.5 years. Richard's been in for 8 or 9. And 9 years, and I cannot believe what I have seen and what I have learned. I considered myself a savvy person before I joined Bank of America, but what I see all day, every day is just stifling. So, you know, it's definitely buyer beware with everything. Anybody else have a question? Yes, sir.
Well, I think what you're saying about using a credit card makes so much sense, because anytime I've ever had a problem with a credit card, I get it solved. They can't steal your money. I had one. I needed to update my credit card information on I don't know, Netflix or some subscription I had, and I know I needed to do it. And I got the thing, and I did it online. I got a call from Chase, or an email from Chase, like within the hour. It said, "Did you just buy whatever it was?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Okay, your card is canceled. We're sending you a new one. End of story." But credit cards are pretty safe. Dealing with bank information, that's the one that scares me. If anybody gets your bank information, they can do anything.
Absolutely, I agree 100%, and I'll reiterate with what he just said. He had to update his Netflix, and he used his credit card to update the Netflix. And then shortly after, he got an email or a text confirming, "Hey, did you make this purchase for something else from his credit card?" And then he responded no. And then Chase Bank immediately responded with, "We shut down your card, we declined the purchase, we're sending you a new card." And that's it. When you're using the credit card, you're using the bank's money, right? They are not in your personal wallet like we are when we're doing any wire or ACH, or even if you're giving information because you're going to receive money unexpectedly. You never give information. I have stories all day long. I have a senior that lives with us, and he was very excited because he got a message from someone. This was just last year. And he got a message from someone saying they knew so-and-so, his friend, and they delivered and gave him a whole bunch of money he was entitled to. He just needed to provide some banking information. Literally dancing around my house, excited because he was going to get this huge windfall, and he needed from us to help him look up his account information. We help him in ways that he needs. And we had to sit down and have a conversation with him that, the person reaching out to him, nobody's going to drop a box of money. There is no windfall. The only windfall is maybe if you have a winning lottery ticket, and we know what the odds are with that. But yeah, and it happens all day, every day. So always keep your personal information as super personal as possible. It's crazy with all of the phishing and everything that they do. So, and then we talked about this, a little bit. Imposter scams, they pose as businesses, family members, friends you know. They'll give you personal information that you have already. And then, like we said, they may spoof, is what it's called, legitimate phone numbers to call or text you. You'll get emails saying, hey, confirm your purchase now of $600. And you click on the link, and then you go down the rabbit hole with that. So, you know, Bank of America does text to validate any unusual activity, and it'll be a yes or no, but they don't want your personal information. So, yes, ma'am.
We have a city card that has the option of a virtual account number.
Okay,
That can only be used at one vendor.
okay.
You can set the amount and set how long it is good. And so if, you know, I want to pay a certain bill, I get a virtual account number, and that number is only good for that vendor. They can't go and use it for something else.
And that is perfect. The card that she used, the Citibank card, has a virtual account number that they use for each vendor. So when she goes to pay the bill, maybe it's the electric bill to Pico or whomever, if she pays with her credit card, it'll have just that virtual account number. That way it can only be used for Pico or whomever she's paying, and then it's an added layer of security. And it's a benefit of using a credit card. And you know, because it's not your personal information. So that's really good. Yes, ma'am.
What you said about the credit card is totally right.
Mhm.
This is another thing, I mean, I really feel that. Okay, have any of you used Etsy?
Oh my goodness, yes. Has anybody used Etsy?
Okay, I collect artisan dolls, and some of them are like $1,000, they're miniature dolls. And I saw them advertised, and I recognize the pictures were definitely these martial acts from artisan dolls. And they were very, very inexpensive. And I thought, oh, wow, somehow I'm gonna buy a couple of these, and I did. I thought I did. And it turned out what they had done was they had taken the information from people that were selling them on eBay, taken the pictures, and then they pretended, it's evidently from China or something like that, and they pretended that they were selling them from Etsy. And Etsy was so uncooperative, I couldn't believe it, but I did charge it on a credit card. So
Okay.
it took me weeks to get it rectified, but I did get the money back, but it was hundreds of dollars. And I'm just warning you, if it looks too good to be true, it's
It is, and you're absolutely right. And I'm sure it's a couple of slides down. So she went to make a purchase on Etsy, and she found this amazing deal on items that are normally $1,000, and it was an incredible deal. And of course, she purchased the stuff. She never received the stuff. And the scammers had just taken all the information from eBay or Amazon and posted all that information on the Etsy website and collected her money, and then she never received their product. So
Etsy was really uncooperative.
Okay.
Really uncooperative. And they even had a tracking page to track it, and they said, oh, yes, I received it. It was such a fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It's so easy and so extensive what they do to try and steal your money. It really is. So, and yes, sir.
Are you suggesting not to pay a bill with your credit card to run a virtual number?
No, I am not suggesting that. And we're not suggesting what product you should or should not use if you're comfortable with your debit and you're comfortable. It is typically safer to use a credit card than it is to a debit card. Whichever credit card you have, because almost every credit card out there has a zero fraud liability. Whereas your debit card, you're putting your account out there, right? You're saying, hi, I'm Terry, and this is my account number ending in 4444. Use my information. So, yes, sir.
What does ACH stand for?
That is, what does ACH stand for? It is an automatic clearinghouse. It is automatic clearinghouse. And it's an electronic transfer, and it's usually a 3-day transfer. That is the difference between a wire. That's what an ACH. Yes, ma'am, did you have a question? Yes.
So, like for two credit cards that I typically use, I have it set up so that I make an online payment, and then the online payment for my balance is paid through my checking account at Truist.
Okay.
Is that okay?
And I would say that's fine. So she has her two credit cards. She has them set up for online payment through her Truist Bank. Now, did you sign up for the online payment through the the credit cards or through Truist?
The credit card company, just has my, checking account information, I guess, set up on my profile.
Okay, and that makes sense, and that's fine. We're not here to be alarmists. It sounds like you're following the process that you should. It sounds like you set your automatic payments up through the credit card that you're using to pull the money from your bank account, and that's absolutely fine. Yes, sir.
I guess I have a question on the same thing. I pay just about everything, credit cards, electric bill, all that stuff. It's all deducted. I don't send checks out to people. They tell me sending checks is more dangerous than this.
Absolutely.
But could somebody hack this information or get the information?
So there is always that possibility. You hear of breaches all the time. So he's concerned about how he sends all of his payments electronically. Everything's either set up automated from where it's being paid to, or maybe the bank account that you're paying from. That is much more secure than mail. Mail fraud, check fraud, I believe is the #1 fraud that we have. We quite literally see it every single day. Richard manages the City Avenue Center in Philadelphia, and I'm here over down the road in Westchester. And people steal your mail. Whether they steal it from your mailbox, if they know the routine as to when the mail person is coming by, they may come through and grab your mail. They may come through and they will fish it out of the blue mailboxes. They've changed the way to reduce that, but they changed the way that they have the mailboxes set up to try and deter theft. And then you just don't know, is the mail person running something up because they also do the Amazon deliveries? My husband says every day is Christmas at my house. And, they're leaving their mail truck unassigned for a minute as they're running up. Is somebody gonna run by and grab? There's so many potential exposures that if you have to 100% send something through the mail, I am a huge advocate of go to the post office, go inside the post office, send it signature request mail, because it's literally you're signing and you're paying for the extra little bit of the service. And then in order for them to deliver that item, and it's usually insured, it has to be signed for and is not being dropped in anybody's box. So you are hands down better off because your check has your account number on it. So you're putting yourself out there 100%. I recommend as little check, as few checks as possible. So definitely a good call. Yes, sir.
I was part of a data breach from the credit bureau that a few years ago.
Okay.
They gave me a service for like 2 years of credit monitoring service.
Okay.
So I also put a freeze on all the 3 credit bureaus for inquiries.
That's perfect.
So then about a year ago, I got a letter, a regular mail letter from a bank in Florida saying you need to lift the credit freeze because we can't process your loan.
Wow.
There was no loan.
Wow.
Okay.
So then I put a fraud alert on my credits as well. So right now, I get every time that the credit monitoring puts out a report, like every week, every month or so, it says your information was found on the dark web.
Wow.
your password has been breached. I mean, my telephone, I can't use anymore because all I get is spam calls.
Yes.
And I don't answer them. Do you have any advice for what I can do to keep preventing?
Okay, so I'm gonna reiterate what you said. He was part of a credit breach. He got awareness. He signed up. He got a 2-year credit protection. And then it sounds like you locked your credit
Yes.
with all 3 credit reporting companies. Fabulous. And you did get an alert when somebody attempted to do a loan. And I'll ask your question again in just a moment. But a couple of things I want to say. When you do lock your credit, there's a couple companies out there that can partner with you with that, and you lock it with all 3 credit unions. If you came into our bank to open an account, or an actor, or someone who professed to be you and came in to open an account, it would show me an alert, and I would not be able to open that account. And that's exactly what happened with that loan. So can you repeat your final question with me, please?
Just, do you have any advice? I feel like I'm fending off attacks every minute.
Yeah.
I change my passwords all the time and make them hard.
Okay.
But this is like a constant barrage of attacks, and I'm not getting any younger either.
I know, and he asked for any advice to kind of fend it off. And sometimes you feel like when something happens, you tend to be hyper aware, so you tend to see more. And then when you have one of those programs too, anytime there's an attempt made, that you'll receive notification as well. So it kind of is triggering. For protecting your personal information, maybe think about changing your email. What we recommend and what is globally out there that's recommended is a different password for every single thing that you use. And they should be changed regularly, as much of a nightmare as that sounds. They really should change, they should rotate, they should be unique to each thing. I know my iPhone will create a unique password for any website I go to. I should use it, but I don't. Because every once in a while it doesn't remember. It doesn't recognize my face, which is frustrating. But one of the things, my son actually, I have 3 boys. My son has just left the military last fall. He's 6 years in the Air Force, and he did DevOps security. And he's still in it on the private sector, but they recommend what they call an UBI key. So it's like a little USB key that you can use to plug into your computer, and you set your computer up with USB key, and what happens is with this little USB key, you just need one password to unlock the USB, and that UBI key is what it's called, and there's a couple different brands of it. That UBI key will store all of your passwords, and then on the flip side of that, nothing can be accessed without the UBI key. So it really makes it so it's on your person. So, that might be something you want to think about. Again, my son is all about it. He's in the field, but I haven't done that yet. I don't think my husband's done it yet either, so he still writes down all his passwords, which is cool because if I forget them, I'm in trouble.
How do you spell UBI?
I think it's really just UBI key. Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's a few brands of it. This isn't something that Bank of America really advocates or shares. This is just my personal experience and life history with, my family. But he does, he swears by it because he had an accidental, slip, and then he felt like somebody was really testing the waters to see how far they could get with his stuff. So, he used that, and he's never had a problem since, and he knows most of the people in his industry do. So.
What is the UBI key?
The UV key?
Yeah.
Yep, it's USB, and it stores.
USB?
Yep, you just put on your computer, and it stores all your personal information on it. It can't be accessed without that key. And you can keep it on your person, like Sarah mentioned.
Yes, you can keep it on your keys or something. You'll see in doctor's offices where they have it. And when you go into the doctor's office, and it's just a little USB right on their keychain. And if they're going to input information or write a prescription or anything, they plug their little USB UV key into their computer that's in the office. And then they don't even have to do anything. They just take care of their scripts and do all that electronically. So, yes. Yes, sir?
I think I've read the reason for not sending checks through the mail is that the ink can be bleached.
That's true too.
The pen that you use, the ink from the pen you use can be bleached, it can be changed, the name can be changed, the amount can be changed. Is that so?
Yes, so the question is, he's heard that the ink can be bleached, the check can be bleached. We call it check washing. And they do. They grab the check, but they have the personal information. They can bleach the check, they can scan the check, image the check, replace the check, change what's on the check written just like that.
Is that the main reason for not sending a check through the mail?
Yes.
But Staples has pens that prevents this. They have a pen that you can buy and where the ink will not be bleached.
No, and that's great, and that's awesome. We just recommend to use as little as possible because still in there, even if they cannot take your check, your physical check, they have your name, your address, your routing number, and your check number, and they can create a check that looks just like it, or that looks nothing like it, and take it to another bank that you bank with out of state, and they can cash it as a non-client. So it's definitely a good thing to look into. Yes. Yes, sir.
Question, using online bill pay with your bank?
Yes.
That's a check that's going out. Who's responsible if that gets lost or stolen?
Okay, that's a good question. The question is online bill pay when you send a check out. So when you do online bill pay, if some of the bigger companies, they just send it electronically. But if I wanted to do an online bill pay to a person with any bank, I could add an individual, Richard, and I could put in all of the information for Richard, his mailing address, and then my online bill pay would actually mail a physical check to Richard. I'll be with you just a second. And that online bill pay would not be your responsibility. So you would just contact online bill pay if there was an issue, and they would say, oh, we see, we'll put a stop payment on it. No problem, we'll take care of it, and then you're good.
Except I don't see it till it clears.
You don't see it till it clears, that's true. But if you have a problem with it, you reach back out to online bill pay. So it is still more secure because it's not your risk. It's the bank's.
Contact the bank, basically.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I had a client who wrote lots of checks to pay their providers. Somebody got a hold of those checks, used white out, the same color as the check. White out, who they were written to, what the dollar amount was, and rewrote those checks. So sending checks is really just not safe.
Yes, absolutely. Sherry had the same experience. Somebody whited out the stole checks, whited out, rewrote who the check was to be made out to, and rewrote the dollar amount and cashed the checks. Because what happens in any bank, you can come in to any bank. If I have a check that was written to me by Richard from Wells Fargo, from Citadel, from M&T, Bank of America, anybody, I could go into whatever bank that was written on and say, hey, I have this $2,000 check. I know I'm not a client, but it's written on your bank. Here's my driver's license. Can I cash that check? They do an inspection process, but they can cash the check. And then the money's gone. So, there is a recourse for you if you catch it, if you realize, and you have to put it in clean, but it goes back to the 90-day process, which is why so important not to do checks whenever possible. Yes, sir.
Are you saying not to send a check through the mail?
I am strongly recommending not to do a check through the mail. If you can refrain from checks through the mail and only do it as an absolute needed exception, I would recommend that. We would see so much less fraud if we did not mail checks.
What's the alternative?
Online banking.
Yes, online banking, call and make payments. Some banks have the option, some of the larger banks, Bank of America uses Zelle, TD Bank uses Zelle, there's a couple other banks that use Zelle. So Richard and I want to go to lunch. Richard pays for lunch, but I tell him I'm going to pay him back. I can use Zelle, it's an instant transfer as long as he's set up with Zelle, and I can send him that money right away. So if you're going to pay, or you guys are all going in on a trip, and everybody has their portion to pay, if everybody is set up with Zelle, with their own bank, they can all send the money, and the person receiving the money also has to be set up with Zelle. Zelle is something Bank of America is comfortable with. There's other apps out there, Venmo, Cash App. I've seen fraud with both multiple times, which is why we deal with Zelle. Zelle doesn't just deal with Bank of America, though. There are multiple banks that deal with Zelle. So if you have that option, I would do that option. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of going to switch back, if I may, to the situation that this gentleman had, or has, continued with identity theft. You had said there were two identity theft things. I just got something in the mail after this seminar was emailed out. This is from a dermatology practice.
Okay.
That I was a patient in 3 years ago in New Jersey, and it's telling me that they have been informed of a recent data security incident, and so they are they're telling me what you had said about putting fraud alerts on the credit bureau and so on and so forth, and then they say that what I can do in terms of identity theft is that they're offering at no cost something called CyberScout.
Okay.
.com, and all within 90 days, I can do that.
Okay, so her question is, she received information from her dermatology office from a few years ago, saying there's an information breach, and then they had an offer for her to enroll in CyberScout if she does it within 90 days for free for a certain period of time, right? Okay.
But the interesting thing, I'm always like thinking fraud, is that I don't know how they got my new address here in Pennsylvania.
That was going to be my first question to you. How did they get your new address?
And it wasn't something that was forwarded.
Okay.
Even though I think my the post office may not forward my mail anymore, but this is just like clearly they're just using my new address here, and I haven't been to this practice in 3 years.
Okay, with that, I would proceed with caution, absolutely. I would reach out to the dermatology office because they may be in network, because most of the doctor's offices over the last 15 years have kind of joined each other. In South Jersey, it's Advocare. Everybody is Advocare this, Advocare that. Whereas I live near Reading, so everything is Tower Health this, Tower Health that. So there is the potential that maybe they received your updated address and were able to do that way through maybe one of their partner groups. But I would absolutely proceed with caution and call the dermatology office directly to get clarification.
And this to me is sort of a wake-up call that, gosh, you know, you may have been in a medical practice, dental practice, or whatever, and your data is just still there.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'll share another thing. I had a friend of ours, and if you need to get back to your center, you're absolutely fine, sir.
No.
Okay. So sorry. So I had friends who had gotten married. They were young. This was 20 years ago. Her husband had never had a credit card, had only had a checking account, never had a credit card. They had to borrow a credit card from the bride's parents in order to go away and have a credit card to use to go away, because he was an advocate against any type of credit, anything this and that. Nice people, young people, worked hard, he just didn't believe in it. His information is out there, everybody's information is out there. If you exist, you're out there. And he had all kinds of problems eventually because somebody got his social, his name, his address, and there was a ton of stuff opened up in his name. So, you know, if we live and breathe and exist, we can be subject to fraud. So, yes, ma'am.
I have a question and comment about that.
Absolutely.
I don't use that one because it hooks directly into your checking account.
Okay.
Does Zelle do the same thing?
Okay, so, and she doesn't use Venmo because it doesn't, because it directs directly to her checking account. And the question is does Zelle do the same thing? Zelle does, but with Zelle, when I use Zelle, I am in my Bank of America app. I am not in a Zelle app. So you're not, it's more secure because it's integrated into the app. So it's a little bit safer. So I have a couple of banks that we deal with, or that we have personally, and it's the same thing with the other bank. Literally within the bank app is Zelle, and you work through that app, not the Zelle app. And any other financial institution that has Zelle will be the same thing. It's that third-party app that always gets you. It really, truly is.
My two comments are,
Mm-hmm.
if those of you who have read our articles and attended our other seminars like this one, we always recommend that you do not fill out the Social Security number in any medical environment, doctors, hospitals, etc. They do not need it, number one. Number two, those are the most insecure environments that you can give your Social Security number to. They have no security with that. And in addition to that, the whole issue with the credit agencies. We're senior citizens, it is free for you to lock your credit. And it is free for you to unlock your credit when you need to. They used to charge us for it, but they don't do that anymore. So everybody in here, lock credit.
That is such great information. I did not know that before as a senior, so that is wonderful. And I'll recommend, it is so easy to lock your credit with them. It is just a phone call. And then if you find yourself in a need or a want for something, so, you know, you're going to make a large purchase at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever, you're going to take advantage of their 20% off if you want to open a new credit card with them. What you have to do is call to unlock your credit, wait till the next business day, go and take care of your business, and then once that's open and taken care of, then you call back and you shut your credit card down. So we've had some clients very upset come into the center not realizing that their stuff was locked and frozen, and we have to wait for a day for them to come back to open a new account with us. That's probably the best tool you can use. Yes, ma'am.
There are 3 credit card agencies.
Yes.
And I have unlocked
Okay?
But if I do wanna take out a loan or do something, they probably don't know what credit card agency they're checking with. Do I have to unlock all 3 credit cards if I'm gonna do that?
I would recommend contacting all 3 credit bureaus in order to unlock that, yes. Yes. Yes, and I'm gonna repeat, I'm so sorry. Her question was, we don't know if we're gonna go to take out a loan, what credit card or what credit bureau we're using for that. So you would have to definitely call all 3, unlock, and then call the 3 unlock. Now, one other thing you could do also is to reach out to whomever. Who do you use for your credit reporting? Because my credit's on lockdown. Who do I need to call to unlock it? Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. So sometimes they do use a couple. And then I had another question.
I just wanted to make a comment on that.
Yes, sir.
Cybersecurity.
Yes.
Odds are good that cybersecurity is soliciting through the company that lost your data. And either paying them or doing them a favor will contact your people. They are trying to sell a product. Do not buy the product.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. It can be another pitch with that. You know, cybersecurity, like the young lady had an issue with an email or a mail coming in saying there's a breach. We'll give you this for free for 2 years. Well, are you going to send a calendar reminder for yourself to make sure you shut this off in 2 years? Because you have to give your credit information when you enroll in that. So unless you're super savvy, and I'll tell you, I've been bit with that before with the electric bill, with choosing a utility company, right? I have that in my phone now set for sometime in 2025, but they do. It is a pitch, so you want to make sure that it's free for 2 years, but after 2 years, they're not going to shut you off. They're going to bill you. So absolutely, good call out. Yes, ma'am.
One more thing, if you lock your credit, don't hesitate to do that. If you need to unlock it for any reason, you can choose leave it unlocked for 3 days or 7 days. And it automatically relocks. So you don't have to worry about all of that.
And you can do it online.
You can do it online, you can do it on the phone, and the phone numbers for credit agencies used to be impossible to find. All that's changed because senior citizens complain to Congress. So
Yes.
Congress changed the rules. So if they're easy to find, they're easy to get in touch with, this is easy to do.
They are all right up here.
And they're all right up there.
Yes, sir.
I just have one more question on password security.
Yes, password security.
Like I use my desktop, I never use my phone. And like with Google and Apple Safari, they're all stored. And then I can get into them with a password.
Okay.
But I don't have to remember them. And I only use them at home. So it'd be hard for somebody to break in and get on my computer. And I think.
Okay.
I feel safe. I don't take it, when I'm traveling, I don't try to get in on a phone or something.
Okay, so question is, he saves his passwords on Google and Safari, he uses his desktop, he only uses it at home. So the concern is he safe? Because he just uses it at home and they're all locked. So there's a couple of things with that. People can remote in. If you click on an ad, or they call clickbait, or like I'm guilty of sitting in the morning before I get out of bed, or when I'm supposed to be going to sleep, and I'll scroll Facebook and I'll look at the top 10 whatever on Facebook. Your phone's burning hot by the time you're done with it. They're crawling over my phone, right? If you click something, they can possibly remote in and access your stuff. So that is still a possibility. Have to make sure your firewalls are good, your pop-up blockers are good. I'm not in the industry, so I'm not a super expert with that, but I recommend, and one of the things that I do, because this is at my at-home personal laptop, and we roll with everything pretty much through my stuff and my Google his phone, and a thing will pop up, and there's a setting you can set for that, and it'll pop up, and then it'll pop up on my phone too. It'll say, "Are you trying to use your computer?" And of course, then I usually get a text, "Hey, what's the number on your phone?" And so there is an added layer of security that you can add if you have a smartphone that'll ask for that. So, and I'm not sure with Safari, but Google has that because I have that often. So that's a possibility. Yes, ma'am.
So I have, my desktop, or my laptop is an Apple machine, and it stopped taking software updates.
Okay.
Does that leave me vulnerable then, because I don't have the latest software?
It's such a touchy thing. I know. I have the same issue with my Mac because my Mac's a dinosaur, which is why this is here, because my Mac's like 15 years old. At least I had to replace the battery. I know. All my kids' pictures are on it from when they're little. I gotta figure it out. It can leave you vulnerable. There is, some options. If you are someone who uses your computer a lot versus your phone, which sometimes it's easier because the screen's just bigger. I either wear my contacts or the screen's up at my face like this. There are places where you can go to get a larger hard drive, put in larger memory storage, which will enable you to have better capacity. Because my Mac, which is like 15 years old, has 8 gigabytes of storage. And it used to be amazing. We spent $2,000 for this, I know, high-end computer, right? And then I think the phone that's in my pocket is like $256, and that's not even the super big one that's out there, So it can leave you subject to be a little bit vulnerable. Make sure you clear your cookies often. Make sure you clear your browser history often. That will help give you a little more breathing room with your computer. It's not necessarily going to enable you to download the latest update, but it may work a little bit better for you. But there's definitely places out there that can increase your memory storage. And there again, like this computer, my son recommended, when I was looking for something new, because mine's the dinosaur, I think I spent $240 for this. And this does everything I need, really, So if you're savvy, yes, sir.
So if you need space in your computer, memory's good. If your computer is old and it won't accept upgrades anymore, you can't do anything. It's finished. Your chip in it is maxed out. Doesn't matter what you try to do, you can't do it, especially Apple. You can't fix it. You gotta buy something.
No, and you're right. But occasionally, because the chip, the CPU can only do so much, but if you buy extra memory for it, it gives it a little bit more room because it's a closet. We only have so much room in the closet. We add another closet, then you got a little bit more room for wiggle.
But you can't upgrade your applications or your operating system, which is what takes care of your security.
It would.
Doesn't matter how big the storage is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
It's the
there
chip.
is. Your chip only has so much. I know, absolutely. So, but there are cheaper options. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think of facial ID to log into
Your phone. Facial ID. I'm such an advocate of it. Absolutely. Because it is so great. And I'll tell you, I have 3 boys, and 2 of them look exactly like me. Exactly like me. I mean, they could walk in. One of them especially could walk in, and you would be like, "Oh my God, that's our baby right there." He will, especially the youngest one, he will play like nobody's business and try and use my Face ID to unlock my phone. He knows my password. He's my 23-year-old kid. He knows my password, but he can't get in. It's great. There's times where occasionally it won't recognize me, or as my husband has gained or lost weight or done, changed his hair significantly, he's had to update his Face ID because it doesn't recognize you because you look different. So I am such an advocate of that.
Even into your bank account, even into your bank's app?
I use it for everything. I do not remember some of my IDs, and some of them aren't always saved in my phone, but I use my Face ID for every single thing. But I mean, like, I'm 51, but I still act like I'm 25, right? At so many levels. Richard's known me forever. I'm lazy, I do. I use the Face ID, but it's more secure. It's more secure. You don't have to worry about it. And my Face ID is set where I actually have to look at it. I can't just be in the vicinity of it. I have to look at it, and that's a question it asks when you set up your Face ID. Yes, sir.
You mentioned unique password for every website visit.
Yes.
You said pages and pages of it.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned LastPass, an app that stores all your passwords.
Okay.
I've been using it for a couple of years now. I haven't had a problem. It's great.
Oh, that's
I
perfect.
don't know if are they reliable?
I don't.
It's been reliable so far.
Okay, no, that's good to know. Like, and so we talked about all the passwords that are saved on one thing that's called LastPass, LastPass. Okay. I haven't heard of it. Pardon me. I am going to check it out though, for sure. So if it seems to work and it's worked for a couple of years, then I would feel pretty good about it.
It'll automatically create your password too. And
Okay.
I don't even know what half of them now.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
It's on my phone. It's on my.
Yes, absolutely. Let me repeat what he said. So a lot of times it will create its own password, so he doesn't even know the passwords. You'll have to come here and come to the mic. Stationary.
Oh, no, it's okay. So I was going to add, for the folks who like to write down your passwords, a lot of our smartphones have a notes app already built into it. So if you're not thinking about trying to buy a new app or make a new subscription online, you can use the Notes app, and like all of us, myself included, I use Face ID as well, so no one can get into my phone to get into my notes to see any of those passwords. So that's another great tool as opposed to writing it on paper, because we can all lose a book.
I've got to mention, LastPass is free.
LastPass is free, so that's phenomenal.
Are you working for them?
I'm sorry?
I was joking.
Are you working for them?
I was kidding.
You're paying. You could pay get a subscription, and then you can do free. Like right now, I can do my phone and iPad and my computer. I just type it in.
And that's perfect. He can use his phone, and he can use 3 things for free. And one other thing, I truly believe your phone is way more secure than your laptop. Yes, sir, in the back on the left, you had a question. LastPass.
PASS.
PALAST. Yes, ma'am.
Can you comment on lifelong events?
So that is one of I have not used LifeLock, but it sounds to me like that you have as a senior the option to lock all 3 credit reports for you for free. I don't know what the difference is with LifeLock. I've heard it advertised a lot. But I think if you can lock your 3 credit bureaus, I think that should be sufficient unless you had some sort of major data breach that you were part of. So with LifeLock, I'm not super familiar. I've heard it advertised, and they advertise the heck out of it. I've seen clients that come in with it, but I don't know that there is a differentiation between that and just locking your credit stuff. I know they monitor, but if there is an attempt, just like one of the other people spoke about, hey, we want to process your loan, but we need your information because we couldn't open your loan. I've gotten that at the house before. Somebody opened a fraud account for a family member, and it was closed down by the time we called because of the way things were set. So, absolutely. Any other questions? No? Wonderful. Okay, so this is great. I'm going to actually leave this page probably with Sherry. And we have questions. So your phone rings and the caller ID says it's from your bank. You pick up and the person or automation on the other end, since there's a suspicious activity on your account and asks for your account information, what do you do?
Hang up.
Okay, hang up and notify your bank. Okay.
Great job.
Yes, very nice. I wasn't sure if my stuff was going to load this morning. I have every single paper printed out. So you just found the pair of limited edition sneakers you've been searching for, and for half the price, and at an online marketplace. Do you scoop them up or do you stay away?
Stay away.
Yes, absolutely.
Someone talked about this already.
Yes, use caution. Oh yeah, exactly. If I find something that I like that's on Facebook, because I spend way too much time on that and TikTok, I'll search it on Amazon because I feel more secure.
I would go with A.
Yes,
Oh.
there we go. Use caution and to click on a pop-up. So next question. You're ready to move to a new place and you found the rental of your dreams. The leasing agent asks you to send in an application fee or a security deposit before you physically have been to the place. So do we send the money, wait for them to set it up? Do you ask if you can send half the money, or do you insist on touring the property first to do additional research?
Insist on touring the property.
Absolutely.
Yes. Do not send no money.
Please. I think we spend almost as much time dealing with fraud as we do helping clients with their financial priorities. So, and this is all, that is all just for Bank of America. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes, sir.
That also applies to vacation, especially.
Absolutely. Yes. You want to make sure all your ducks are in a row. You know, they say buyer beware. My business card is at the check-in station. You know, I have been in Westchester since October. I've been a financial center manager for 40.5 years. But I'm over at Westchester. I have a phenomenal team at Westchester. We have a lot of great branch locations. If you guys have any questions ever, any comments, any concerns, our contact information is there. Feel free to take my business card. You can talk to anybody here at our center. We'll be more than happy. Doesn't have to be a Bank of America account. Doesn't have to be a Bank of America question. We are here to help you guys and to protect you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a completely different question.
Yes.
When you set up bank accounts and they're insured by the FC or FD,
FDIC. Mm-hmm.
how does that work? Now,
Okay.
here's the question. If you have a checking account and then a savings account and maybe a money market, is each one insured separately for your name, or is each client only insured for $250 completely?
Okay, so it's an FDIC. If you open a bank account, how does it work? How much are you covered for? Is it across all accounts, or is it just one? So if you have 5 accounts with one bank, and the total ends up to $250,000, you are covered for all 5 accounts. If you have one account that's $250,000, you're covered for that one account. If you have 2 accounts and one is $250,000, the second one is $250,000, you are covered for only $250,000. However, if you're a co-owner on the account and you and your husband are on both accounts, then you are each covered for $250,000 each. So it is the dollar amount that you are covered for, not per account. So, if that provides clarification. Yes, ma'am?
Is an IRA included in that?
An IRA, if it is a CD with bank CD, then it's secure. If you have it at an investment place, then it's different regulations, of which I'm not familiar because I'm not licensed.
So, and then if you have an IRA CD
Okay?
and you have a regular CD,
Yes.
are they considered different classes, or would it still be a total of 250?
If it's still within the same bank, it's still the 250,000. So yes, the product, does not matter. It's the dollar amount and the financial institution. So yes, yes. Any other questions? No? Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate being welcomed here. Thanks for coming. Thank